I totally forgot Kaitlin Bennett existed. I really did. When the coronavirus thing first happened for a while, she'd kind of stopped putting out videos, and they started getting a lot less views. Like she's kind of out of like the rotation of like popularity. Um, oh wait, she did a video at the boat parade where those boats sunk. That's hilarious. That's actually really funny. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys what I see right now. Um, she's actually uploaded a bunch of videos lately. She did one on the wow, her video on Canon Hint only got 70,000 views. Jesus. Yeah, I guess her shtick just got really old and nobody really cared about it anymore. But she's kind of come back and had kind of a resurgence. Like her last half dozen videos have actually been getting over 500,000 views. So there might be worth in covering this. What do we want to cover? This is the one that I actually planned on covering before when I scheduled the stream, but then I realized it's almost an hour long. But we've got some other ones that are a bit shorter and probably more appropriate to cover on stream that are newer. Which one to cover, though? College libs can't back up their claims. Inside the mind of a college student, college Dems shut down conversation. Kaitlin Bennett takes the libs to school. I feel like college libs shut down the conversation might be the best one to go with. Maybe we'll do that. The libs. Alright, let's get right into it. No lollygagging around. We're just getting right into it.
I have no apologies. I am not a Donald Trump apologist. I will support him. I will support him no matter what happens. Unless...
Hold on. There was a lot in that first few seconds that are... Okay. Whew. Let's just watch the first little bit until the intro, and we'll talk about it.
I have no apologies. I am not a Donald Trump apologist. I will support him. I will support him no matter what happens. Unless...
Nice. Based. Okay, there we go. I am not a Donald Trump apologist. I will support him and vote for him no matter what. Oh yeah, by the way, she's probably only wearing a mask because you have to wear a mask on campus. At least here in California, no business will let you inside unless you're wearing a mask for the safety of yourself and others, as well as the employees at the store. So I'm pretty sure she's probably, like, she wouldn't wear a mask if she was anywhere where she didn't have to wear one. Like, like the rules there aren't, you have to wear one. But if she's gonna wear a mask, it'll be like a, yeah, she was forced to wear it, makes sense. It's gonna be a MAGA mask. So she's not a Trump apologist, but no matter what, she will vote for and support Trump. That's literally what being a Trump apologist is. Uncritical support of Trump. You support him no matter what he does. Does she think that a Trump apologist is apologizing for Trump? Because that's the way she made it sound. Now, Kaitlin Bennett's IQ is basically lower than... Kaitlin Bennett's IQ is lower than that of a classroom whose pencils have been coated with lead paint because kids like to chew on pencils and they end up chipping the paint off. So that's basically where Kaitlin Bennett's intelligence is at. She's very, very dumb, which is why these videos are so enjoyable. I don't even have to argue against them or anything like that. I can just sort of sit back and watch them, pause it, and just make fun of her whenever she says something dumb. Don't give her that much credit, Xander Hall? True.
Pleasure to meet you. I'll do a fist bump. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So my question is, like, as an immigrant, why should I support Trump when...
Can you understand anything that anyone's saying right now? I can understand it, but, like, there's a lot of background noise. It's fucking raining. You guys can understand it? Okay, as long as you guys can understand. Maybe I can turn on subtitles? There we go.
He seems very racist.
Well, first, can you give me any proof that he's racist?
The whole Obama thing about his birth certificate.
Yeah, actually, let's go down the list. The one he brought up right now, that he spawned the birther movement. Well, he didn't spawn it, but he definitely perpetuated the birther movement thing a lot. Trying to claim that Obama is Kenyan and we need to see his birth certificate. He's the dreamer thing, because he's going to bring this up because he is an immigrant. The Central Park Five claiming that they deserve the death penalty and should be at least be locked up well after they've been acquitted. The Mexican judge thing. So basically there was a judge who was going to rule on something completely unrelated to anything having to do with Mexico when it comes to Trump, and he said that the judge could not fairly could not judge him fairly due to the fact that he was Mexican and because he was like in support or part of a group called La Raza. La Raza literally just being a group that's about like giving financial support to young, like Hispanic, generally Mexican students and youth to be able to like get like a successful job and like get into a good school or whatever. He said that most of the people who come from Mexico are rapists and murderers, and some of them he assumes are good people, even though statistically speaking, even illegal immigrants commit less crime than native-born American citizens. It's just literally the amount of shit that he's said cannot purely be explained by stupidity. He is both stupid and racist. Nobody with more than 2 brain cells can argue that Trump isn't racist. He absolutely is. He absolutely is.
That's pretty racist, you know what I mean? If somebody came over and said, oh, like, you know, where's your birth certificate, the whole thing, like, really, like, before I'd even have some sympathy for him, and I still do a little bit, but it just seems like he's very, like, the border wall, like, that's very racist in my eyes, you know, physically keeping.
Yeah, the border wall, the entire concept behind the border wall is also, the entire argument behind the border wall is also racist as fuck. There is no necessity for the border wall to put in so much money, like an unbelievable amount of money into a wall that, for one, has been demonstrated to not even work the way it's supposed to. Like, you can literally dig under it or climb it. There's been videos of people online being able to climb it. There's parts of the walls that are that like were built along a river, and that part of the riverbed is eroding, and so the wall's collapsing. So there's literal holes in the wall. Not to mention, even if the wall functioned exactly as it was supposed to, even if it was the wall from Game of Thrones, just literally like like a mile tall and like half a mile thick, made of solid concrete and rebar, no chance of climbing it, no chance of digging under it whatsoever, this would do nothing to mitigate any of the problems coming from Mexico to America, such as the cartels, human trafficking and whatnot. Most illegal immigration and comes from ports of entry and like overstaying green cards and whatnot. And on top of that, the organizations that are bringing crime to America with like the human trafficking and the drugs are being backed by millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. These are extremely profitable criminal organizations that can afford to fly people into America, fly drugs and people into America, and or go around just on boat. The wall does nothing for any of this. The wall does literally nothing to solve any of this. The only thing the wall is going to do is put up a sizable barrier in between people coming here to try to have a better life, which I assume if you're not racist, you should have no issue with, especially when you consider that every single reputable economist, even those that are kind of right-leaning, agree that even illegal immigration is an overall benefit to our economy. The only wages that are affected by illegal immigrants are those of like high school dropouts and high school workers working like really low, like minimum wage, like shitty jobs, and that's it. that those are the only jobs being taken, and even when you consider all of that, all things put aside, the or all things considered, the illegal immigration ends up contributing to a massive, overwhelming benefit to our economy. If you want to see how cutting off immigration actually harms a country, look at Japan. Like hardcore nationalism and isolationism really does hurt a country. Japan has unbelievably high suicide rates. Their economy is fucking plummeting. Their population is dropping. Their birth rates are dropping. Japan's fucked in this respect, all because they want to cut off immigration and because the government there is so racist and xenophobic. There is no other explanation besides xenophobia and racism. No other reasonable explanation.
People out, and I get it that there are like criminals and people you don't want in the country, but most immigrants aren't like that, and it just seems like an overkill to keep out specifically Mexicans. You know, like
How is that? It's okay. How is that racist?
Building a wall to keep people physically out—that's very racist. You know?
What is the definition of racism?
Really, for me,
anybody who tries to argue this is being unbelievably anti-intellectual. Trying to put a very like hard definition on something like racism is really, really hard, and he is being too polite. But that's no, I wouldn't blame him for that, right? This is the issue. It's like when someone asks you, "What is fascism?" Well, okay. Well, I mean, you can bring up a bunch of examples of fascism. You can bring up a bunch of examples of like things that are usually true of a fascist regime or of a fascist society. But to try to put a hard definition on fascism is impossible. Same goes for racism, because racism and fascism are not academically developed phenomenon. They are they're a social phenomenon brought about by the material position and social position that a society is in. It's not a rational ideology. It's not. Fascism, racism, these just aren't these aren't rational ideologies. They aren't academically developed in which you can sort of lay out a definition for it that'll encompass most examples, right? So for example, going out and lynching a black person, I think we can all agree, is racist. However, it is also racist if you're walking down the sidewalk and you see a black person walking towards you on the sidewalk and you go and walk to the other side of the street. You aren't hurting the black person. You aren't really like doing all that much, but that is still a racist action. You're doing it because they're black. You think that black people are like more likely to harm you, and so you walked across the street. These are two unbelievably different things, yet they're still both racist. So the problem is when you have dishonest actors like Kaitlin Bennett here, who is a dishonest actor, trying to pull the define racism to try to pigeonhole the definition to a very small bracket, it's very dishonest, and you should never fall for it. Never fall for that.
No, that's the definition. Not for you, not for Austin. The definition.
It's when a group of people hate and subjugate other people based on the color of their skin or their beliefs or something like that, you know?
And they believe their race is superior to others.
No, that is racist. That is not an academic definition of racism. Sorry, doesn't work. If this is the only definition of racism we went by, the world would be a much worse place. This is the problem that I have with a lot of anti-intellectuals, right? So let's say TERFs, for example. A lot of TERFs will point to the fact that in some dictionaries, woman is still defined as a adult female or whatever. And that's all well and good. You can point at the dictionary, but the dictionary is not the academic consensus on what a word means or anything. It's not. The definition of words, as they should generally be considered in very nuanced topics and debates, is that from which the academic community has come to the conclusion of, or is more leaning towards, right? Because if we're talking about a complicated situation, you have to consider these things. You have to. You can't just pigeonhole a definition. It's extremely anti-intellectual. There's a reason why academics don't just look at the dictionary, look at that definition and say, well, racism is just when you believe your race is superior than others. Oh, you just hate You just hate black people? You don't think you're superior, but you just hate them? Oh, well, that's not racist because you don't think you're superior. Like, obviously, nobody would say that. Nobody in their right mind would say that.
That's the definition of racism. How is trying to protect our border wall from people coming in illegally racist?
Okay.
Because there's no problem demonstrated with people coming in illegally. No one is hurt when someone comes in illegally. The crime of coming in illegally shouldn't even be a crime. The crime should be if someone comes over illegally and does crime. Like selling drugs. Or killing people. Anything like that. Which illegal immigrants from Mexico have been demonstrated to do less than native-born Americans per capita. Which is when you consider their population. So, for example, gather 10 white Americans, or just gather 10 native-born Americans, I guess, and 10 illegal Mexican immigrants. Statistically, you're going to have more criminals in the 10 native-born Americans than you are in the 10 native-born or the 10 illegal immigrants. There is no other reason besides racism to want to keep these people out. Literally no other reason. Rack your brain. Try to think. There's just no other reason.
It's a border wall with a country, not a specific color of people.
But it wouldn't even work.
It doesn't matter if it works or not. That's not the discussion we're having.
Okay.
You're saying that it's racist. I just want proof.
Okay. Building a wall.
Prove to me that this is racist. So the problem is that you can literally never see. You can literally never, you can't know what's going on in someone's head. You can't know for certain if somebody is racist. You can't know for certain that Hitler is racist. The only way that you can know, for example, that Hitler is racist, or anybody is racist, is by looking at their actions, what they say, the rhetoric they advocate for, the actions they advocate for. You look at those and you decide if those are racist actions. Someone who isn't racist may advocate for people to go out and lynch black people. And they may genuinely not be racist. They may not even hate black people. They just decide to say that. Now, there's no universe in which that would happen, where someone who isn't racist would say that. Or someone who doesn't genuinely hate black people would say that, of course. But for the sake of the hypothetical, that's racist. Of course it is. Why do immigrants strengthen our country but never their own? Because strengthening of a country isn't just from the people, right? You have to have a government that isn't willing to capitulate to criminal organizations like Mexico is. The Mexican government is extremely corrupted by and paid off by Mexican cartels and whatnot. And so, if we actually want to solve the problems going on in Mexico, we need to help the Mexican government flesh out the corruption and help them, target and destroy criminal gangs, and then invest in Mexican industry and business in order to improve their economy. And, as we know, poverty leads to crime. If you want to stop crime, you end the drug war, you help root out the corruption within the Mexican government, and you invest in their businesses and their communities. We benefit from that. They benefit from that. Crime goes down there. Things get better there. People want to stop coming over here. Simple as that. Mexico is, and that's true, Mexico is the way that it is now because of our foreign policy. That's true.
All keep people physically out is exactly what the Europeans did back in 2015, right, when there was a huge influx of Syrian refugees going into Europe. They build fences, they build walls, and that's just not America. You know what I mean? America's a country of immigrants, I come from Brazil. Luckily I was born here, but I see my brother, and I'm not gonna lie, he goes through a lot of problems simply because we were born the same month in different countries. I speak English, he speaks English, we were great students, we pay our taxes, we do all the things. And it just, I feel for him when there are people that say, oh, go back to your country, oh, we don't want you here, oh, keep America white. In America, I mean, it's not white, it's a country of immigrants, you know what I mean?
That's totally fine. I just want to know how it is racist. Trump.
He just explained how it's racist. Trump literally, not only is he himself racist and the rhetoric he spews racist, but his own fan base, he empowers the racism within his fan base. She's literally so smooth-brained, she can't understand what he's saying. Anyone with any level of, like, understanding of social... Not even. You don't even have to have any understanding of, like, social interaction to be able to understand what he's saying here. She's being purposefully obtuse. Deliberately obtuse.
Is not building a wall and keeping black people in one certain area, brown people in one certain area. He's building a wall with another country that has many different colored people in there. People are not allowed to overstay their...
Are we gonna pretend like most people in Mexico aren't brown? Are we really gonna pretend like most people in Mexico, the vast majority of people in Mexico, aren't brown? Are we really gonna pretend that?
Their visas, whether they're white or brown. That's the point. He wants to keep our country safe because we haven't had an influx of child sex predators coming across the southern border.
Literally every expert in this field has said that the wall will do nothing to mitigate these problems. Sex trafficking, drugs coming in, none of these things will be solved by the wall. There is no reason to believe that these problems will be solved by the wall. They just won't. They just won't. The sex trafficking, human trafficking, drugs, none of it.
Okay. We have also had an influx of drugs.
Also, conservatives acting like they give a shit about kids getting raped. How fucking funny. Literally, it's just not like conservatives don't give a fuck about kids getting raped or women getting raped, okay? Literally, I actually thought it was really funny. I was watching Vosh's coverage of the, what's it called? The, CancelCon thing. As it turns out, Dennis Prager, one of the most prominent conservative figures in this country, wrote multiple articles about why marital rape should be legal. And on top of that, laws, there are shit tons of states where child marriage is still legal, and it's all being perpetuated by conservatives. It is right-wing figures, right-wing politicians who fight tooth and nail to keep child marriage in America legalized. They want marital rape to be legal, and they want child marriage to be legal. These people do not give a solitary fuck about children getting raped or women getting raped. Like, literally, they don't care about it. They don't care anything about it. All they want is for brown people to stay out. The data points to these things not being a problem. Literally. I don't want your kids no excuse. Me while I fat the lolly folder. Nice meme, Go-Go Boy. Be careful with the T-slur, though. I know you're not like a reactionary, but that was a little. I thought you were a reactionary for a second. I thought we had a chud and chat for a hot minute.
Drug traffickers coming across the southern border. We've also had an issue of terrorists, people that don't want good for our country, going to Mexico and flooding in through there because
this has not been demonstrated.
It's easier to do that because our border is so weak. It's not because of a race. It's not.
Our border is not weak. We probably have one of the strongest... there's a pedo in chat? I already know about the pedo. There's been no it hasn't been demonstrated that most people who engage in terrorism in America are coming over from Mexico, because guess what? Most people who are engaging in terrorism in America are white nationalists. White nationalist crime. Or white nationalist motivated terrorism and crime fucking makes non-native, like illegal immigrant terrorism look like a fucking joke. Look like a fucking absolute joke.
Not because of his skin color, it's because he wants to make sure economic opportunities are here for Americans first, because he's America first, and then they can come over legally. Even right-wing economists agree that Americans end up benefiting in the long run from immigration, even illegal immigration. And he even put more people down there to process asylum seekers. If he was racist, why is he sending more lawyers down there for asylum seekers?
Because it's just the international law. Like, you can't lock...
He doesn't have to order people to go down there to process asylum seekers. He doesn't have to do that.
Cages. They're in cages. I mean, this is like Germany, almost bordering it.
Oh yeah, did you see? Oh, and it is actually. Did you see the stories about the forced sterilization happening at the concentration camps on the border? Yeah, this is a big fucking story that just came out. Here it is. Here's an article by Slate. Unpacking the explosive allegation that a uterus collector is terrorizing immigrant women. Allegations surfaced late Monday that, among other alleged abuses of detained immigrants, which have been confirmed, at the Irwin County Detention Center in Georgia, female detainees are being given forced hysterectomies without their consent. The allegations come from a complaint filed on behalf of a nurse who worked in the detention center by the nonprofit Project South, along the three other nonprofits, Georgia Detention Watch, Georgia Latino Alliance for Human Rights, and the South Georgia Immigrant Support Network. The allegations in the complaint, which was directed at the Inspector General of the Department of Homeland Security, are shocked and disturbed. Dawn Wooten, the whistleblower and former nurse at ICDC, said that she was concerned that many women had received the procedure without being spoken to in their native language or being told why they were getting the surgery. The story elicited calls for investigation due to the horror of the allegations and the limited corroboration for the claims that immigrants had indeed received the hysterectomies without proper process. Yeah, so yikes. And this is all going past the other horrible human rights abuses that have happened, such as the children being separated from their parents, the fucking horrible living conditions. There have been horrible human rights violations that have just outright been confirmed, like caught on video, just like reported on by credible reporters and journalists. This has been like, this is not out of them being sprayed with toxic chemicals and whatnot. This is not outside the realm of possibility whatsoever.
Okay, I think that's a little far to say that that's like Germany. That's a little far and insulting.
It's putting people in cages, and
he's not doing anything. That policy was started under Obama. Would you like?
Yes, it was started under Obama and has been expanded and enabled by Trump. Yes. Oh, this is like if I shot somebody on the street and then handed the gun to another dude, and the other dude shot two more people on the street. And then somebody said, "Oh shit, that guy's shooting people." And Kaitlin Bennett comes along and says, "Well, actually, it was Xander Hall over there that shot the first guy, so you can't really blame the second guy for shooting another two people, you know, if we're being completely honest." Like, yeah, both are at fault, but one person continued to do it and expanded it and did it even worse. Even worse.
I'd like to call Obama a Nazi.
Obama's not a Nazi. It's like, but
he's the one who started that policy under his administration. Trump came in and did away with separating them. They are in detention centers. That's just like jail.
That's not true. They're still separated.
If someone comes in and they break the law, they're going to get separated from their children and go to jail. There's no difference. These people are now breaking the law when they come into our country illegally. They have to be detained. They have to sit there. They have to go through the processes to see if they can come in through asylum.
It's actually very easy to pump up the numbers of how many illegal immigrants are actually criminals if you call them illegal immigrants and count coming into the country illegally as a crime, even though literally nobody is hurt by it whatsoever. Yeah, I know her voice is very whiny and insufferable. Nobody is hurt by somebody coming into the country illegally. It's not a violent crime. There is no demonstrable harmful outcome that comes from it. If you try to say that it's a crime, then sure, I guess they're all criminals. But once they get here, statistically speaking, they don't do anything. They don't hurt anybody. They end up benefiting the economy. Native-born Americans end up benefiting from it.
Asylum, or if they're not here for good reasons. There's nothing racist about that.
My question is this, and I want to know. My parents overstayed their visas. They've been here 30 years. They're hardworking. They love God. They love their country. Why should they be deported? Because they broke a silly law. They help move the economy. They help boost the economy. And another kind of thing about the whole drug situation. Who do you think consumes all the drugs? It's not the Mexicans, I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? So my thing is, why not go after the...
I mean, that's not particularly... I mean, it's like a valid argument, but I don't know. Probably not a good idea to say that your parents are illegal immigrants on a YouTube video that's going to get 200,000 views. But, oof.
people that consume drugs, because they're the Wall Street bankers and the suburban moms and like all the people that can't really, that basically a part of his voter base, you know what I mean?
Well, when we go after the people who consume drugs, like in Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill, it locks up black people, it locks up brown people. When we
Don't virtue signal, you fucking bitch. Kaitlin Bennett, don't even try to virtue signal. You've argued that systemic racism isn't real. Wait, hold on. But didn't you say racism? Wait, she's admitting right now, though she doesn't realize it. This is not only whataboutism, but on top of that, she is technically admitting right now that racism isn't just when you think white people are better than black people, because he just made a bill and it hurt black people, right? That you can't know his intentions. It would be unfair to say that he's racist because of that, wouldn't it, Kaitlin Bennett? How can you know that he hates black people more than white people? Now you gotta prove that Joe Biden's racist. That's clearly what you're getting at right now. No, what she's doing right now is virtue signaling. They'll do it. They'll turn on a heel to virtue signal and say that insert person they don't like is racist or bad. Whenever you try to argue that their daddy Trump is actually racist, they always got to do the whataboutism. They always engage in virtue signaling and identity politics. These people are the biggest fucking hypocrites on the face of the earth.
We go after people who consume drugs because consuming drugs is a non-violent offense. Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill astronomically put so many black and brown people into prison. And
look at her virtue signaling right now. I'll give her this. She knows how to play the audience that she's talking to right now, but she's literally done other like speaking engagements where she's argued that systemic racism isn't real and these bills aren't actually racist and they don't actually hurt black people. They only hurt people who use drugs, and people who use drugs are bad. That's what she's argued. Now, I agree with the point that she's making here. Yeah, consuming drugs is a nonviolent offense. Drug consumption should not be illegal at all, whatsoever. But she doesn't actually believe that. She's virtue signaling right now.
what did Donald Trump do? He implemented the First Step Act with the help of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. He specifically went after Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill policies that were still in effect, and he reversed a lot of them. 91% of the people released under Trump's First Step Act were...
How much do you want to bet that's not true? Literally every time a conservative makes an argument in one of these videos like this, I go and I look it up. It's always a lie. Fuck it, we'll go look it up. Just to make 100% sure. Predator was terms to see in 1994. Crime bill at Sleepy Joe was so heavily involved in passing. That was a dark period in American history, and Sleepy Joe apologized now. Or another tweet claiming that anyone. I, on the other hand, was responsible for criminal justice reform. Trump's tweets are clearly an effort to attack Biden where it could hurt. Though Biden's criminal justice positions were considered mainstream among Democrats, even black Democrats at the time, new movements like Black Lives Matter have sprung up and asked the party to reevaluate and confront its tough on-crime past. But Trump's line of attack is a bit rich, coming from a president who has recently praised China for executing drug dealers and called for the death penalty to be swiftly doled out to people who shoot police officers. Bad faith aside, the strategy behind Trump's tweets is clear. It harkens back to so he literally did nothing about the crime bill. He just tweeted about it. Trump literally just tweeted about it as an attack against Biden for the sake of his election. And on top of that, he's literally praised China for executing drug dealers and called for the death penalty on them. Okay, nice meme. Nice, she just lied. She just outright lied. Fucking every time. Every goddamn time. I'm always right. Xander got him. Always right.
Black. If he were a racist president, he would want them to be in jail instead of getting released.
I think Trump really likes publicity as well, and I gotta say, you're very well informed.
No, she's not. She just lied to your face, dude. You should have called her out on her shit, but I guess he couldn't have known because, you know. On top of that, no, he doesn't want them released. He wants them. He is against them being jailed. He wants them executed.
I really appreciate that. I've always wanted to have a conversation like this.
I'm smiling under my mask.
Me too. Here's the thing. Look, I think it's just a lot.
You think Donald Trump might be racist because he hurts your feelings or something? I have not had any proof that he's racist.
There's a lot of proof. There's a lot of things like, you know what I mean? Look, here's the thing. Let me ask you this thing. Does Donald Trump betray the image or the symbolism of America for you?
For me, absolutely. He is a hardworking businessman with no filter on his mouth. You go out to the boondocks, to most of the country, rural areas, they talk just like Donald Trump. That's why he resonates with so many people. That's why they're out there in these boat parades. He doesn't even have to be there. They're gathering by the thousands for him because he's a real person and he resonates so well with them. They love him.
I don't know. I mean, there are a handful of billionaires in the world, you know what I mean? And I don't know to like, look, I think I'm a person that speaks very honestly, you know what I mean? Very openly. I don't filter too much. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump is a president. He is a diplomat. He represents America. So don't you think it's right maybe for him to have a filter, to have, for him to express his opinions more politely, more diplomatically?
I do not want Donald Trump to pretend to be something he's not. I don't want to sit there and wonder what he thinks. I don't want to sit there and wonder what he believes in. I don't want to wonder what kind of person he is off of the camera. Okay. We know what type of person he is, and that's also good for you to form an opinion if you like that or not. Right. What if he was like this in private, but in person, out in public, he's out here acting all clean and polished? No.
The reason why Trump doesn't have a filter and he acts the way that he does is because he's a fucking idiot. God, can we go back to like, God, what's one example I can think of off the top of my head? Do you guys remember the he spoke with the I think it was Prime Minister of what was it? The Prime Minister of Germany. That one lady, what's her name? Does anyone know what her name is? Fucking German lady? Merkel, yeah. He talked to Angela Merkel, and they were talking, and he was suggesting they set up a trade deal with Germany. Problem is, Germany's in the EU. You can't do a trade deal with Germany. You do a trade deal with the United Nations, or with the European Union. Sorry, with the United Nations, with the European Union, and so she had to tell him to do a deal with the EU multiple times. 12 times. 12 fucking times. 12. 12. The dude's a fucking idiot. Okay? The guy's a fucking idiot. Oh, what about that one time? Oh, God. Fuck, what was it? Hold on. I want to see if I can find it. Oh, God. This one was also fucking hilarious. Fuck, I can't find it. Does anybody know that clip? It's where he's in the White House. He's like at his he's at the he's in his office and he's talking to a bunch of people, and there's this lady, I don't know what it was about, telling him about how her parents were killed by like, I don't know, maybe like ISIS or something, I don't remember exactly. And he's talking to her and she's explaining to him their murder. She's explaining their murder to him for like 2 whole minutes. And his response to what she said right after was, "How are they doing now?" And she says, They're dead. They were murdered." And he's like, "Oh, okay." The dude's a fucking moron. That's why he has no filter. He's not like this based fucking red pill, you know, like doesn't care what anyone thinks of him. He cares. Of course he cares what other people think of him. He has the most inflated ego in the fucking world. He's just a goddamn idiot. He doesn't know how to control himself.
amazing. This is the most transparent president we have ever had. You know what he's thinking. You know what he's going to say.
Please don't let this be. Oh, here it is.
The story is courageous and horrifying. Nadia Murad was one of the thousands of Yazidi
So this is an Iraqi woman pleading to Trump over religious persecution. Let's watch.
women and children abducted by ISIS in Iraq. She survived rape and torture in captivity. ISIS murdered her family. Persecution for being an ethnic minority. Murad escaped and was later awarded the Nobel Prize in 2018 for speaking out about her experience. And when she visited the White House this week, President Trump didn't seem familiar with her story. Watch as Murad pleads with the president to help the Yazidis.
I'm from Iraq, and I cannot say my family is there in the jail because when ISIS attack us, no one protect us. After 2003, we start to disappear from our area, from our homeland. When ISIS attack us in 2014, they killed 6 of my brothers.
What do you think is happening in his head right now? What do you think he's thinking of right now? I think he's probably like, oh God, I can't wait for this all to be over so I can sit here on my phone and shitpost on Twitter. God, what am I gonna have for lunch today? What am I gonna eat for dinner? Like, it's just elevator music. It's just crickets. It's just boobs bouncing with crickets in the background. That's what's going on in his head right now.
They killed 6 of my brothers.
Why is this brown person talking to me right now?
They killed my mom. They took me to captivity with my 11 sister-in-law, with all my sister and my nieces. Our home is destroyed. We come to here, we go to Europe, we go to Arab country that ISIS did this. Everyone saw that, and we appreciate.
And you were captured?
Yes, Vice President, he helped us a lot, but now, today, you can't solve our problem. Now there's no ISIS, but we cannot go back because Kurdish government and the Iraqi government, they are fighting each other who will control my area. This happened to me. They killed my mom, my 6 brother. They left behind them.
Where are they now?
They killed them. They are in the mass grave.
She just told there was literally no delay. He wasn't listening. There was no delay whatsoever. God, don't take my word for it. Go look. There are compilations on YouTube of Trump demonstrating how fucking stupid he is. There are fucking entire compilations on YouTube. Like 2-hour compilations of Trump just saying unbelievably stupid shit, just demonstrating how dumb he is. It's all, there's plenty. The guy's not just like this based, red-pilled guy who's not afraid to speak his mind. He's just stupid. He's just stupid.
You know how he feels about everything going on in our country. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have from a president.
I'll say this, man. I remember early on, I was like, you know what? Let me give this guy a chance. Let's see if he works. And for me, at least, I remember one time when he was in a briefing, and he was just telling all these like.
He did it in a video Vosh watched yesterday. A woman was talking about her mother passing from cancer, and he went on to rant about COVID. Yeah.
Horrifying things. He's like telling the media to stop uncovering stuff in front of them. And for me, like he started to sweat. His upper lips were sweating, and it was really suspicious, and it made me feel like, what is this guy hiding? Like, because look, if you're a family and the dad goes up to the son and says, "Hey son, I'm 3 months behind rent. I don't know how I'm gonna do. I'm really nervous. Have a great day at school." That's gonna make the kid really nervous. I think the president's job as leadership is to calm the people. It's to be honest, there's no room for lying. But it's to have an open, honest communication with people. This guy...
How is he supposed to do that when the media lies about everything he says? When he tweets...
This doesn't happen. The media doesn't lie about Trump. Any journalist or reporter or anyone within the mainstream media can literally lose their fucking job over reporting false information. The fake news thing just isn't true. This has been debunked time and time again.
We know what he's saying because the media will not give him a fair shake. They will not sit there and accurately report on what he's done for this country. So I absolutely stand behind President Trump of being fed up with the media in this country. Social media suppresses his tweets. They suppress his followers.
Social media does not suppress his tweets or followers. He is one of the most followed people on Twitter. The only thing, literally the only thing that Twitter has done to Trump is fact-checking his lies. That's it. When he lies about something on Twitter, Twitter adds a little annotation at the bottom with the truth of what he lied about. Little thing that you can click on that shows, actually, yeah, this is false. This is the actual truth. Because he lies so much. He's so notorious for being such a liar, they had to do that. They also disabled replies on one of his lie tweets. Yeah, that's fair.
They sit there and they delete people who stand up for him. I have no apologies. I am not a Donald Trump apologist. I will support him. I will support him no matter what happens.
Oh, these people are fucking based. Alright, cool. God, Kaitlin Bennett might be one of the smoothest brains on the internet, honestly. Like, I'm surprised she hasn't gotten an award for it, you know? Just someone give her a trophy for being so stupid. She literally, like, there's no contest in terms of stupidity as to who's dumber on the, like, there's no competition. She's at the top of the list. Her brain is so smooth. I feel like even no bullshit could beat her in chess. I feel like she could beat a chicken at a game of chess, but no bullshit could beat her. 100%. 100%. She's unbelievably dumb, but that was fun. I don't even know what I'm going to call this. Kaitlin Bennett is extremely dumb. Like, it's just, she made no arguments whatsoever. It was just deflecting and pivoting, and she just demonstrated how little she knows about literally every single thing being talked about here. I don't know.